if that's bootlicking. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, yeah, no, I mean that's
bootlicking are the guys who are like,
bootlicking.
Elon, no,
Yeah,
don't do bootlickers. Like,
yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, I
Critical Role being like, well, Hasbro figured it out. It's a mess, but we'll sort this out in the future. We love our fans. That's not. I hope that's not bootlicking, because they were all bootlickers at one point or other.
Of course we are.
No, I'm not.
Of course, in every essence of our lives, we have to lick someone's boot, because we're not the 1%.
We're not the one. No, you can work for a boss. You can do your job without bootlicking. Sometimes you can pepper crack. Bootlicking's like, thank you, fascists, for kicking me. Kick me again. That's bootlicking.
Yeah, but that gets you the raises faster, doesn't it?
No, it doesn't get you the raises faster. Doing your job gets you the raises faster.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Knocking it out. I mean, I guess hey, I'm down with fascism, down with capitalism, down with both of them. But also, people who protect Elon are bootlickers. People who ask for more fascist police policies are bootlickers.
Sure.
I think deciding to stay in business with Hasbro, that's just capitalism, baby. That's just
Yes.
All right. Anyway, that's good. How's everything going?
It's going well, man.
You look sharp and fresh.
Yeah, first haircut of the year. I had an appointment last week. I had an appointment last week. That was the longest I've been in a while. It's been a month.
Yeah, right.
I got it cut on the 15th of December. And
do you check your app and you're like, oh wow, 17 days. I better schedule this next appointment.
Well, I have a running every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks? Is that what you do?
Every 2 weeks. Yeah. But because it was before the holidays and then we were traveling, so I said I won't get it done. So I had planned it for the first week after, so last week, but something came up. I was on call, they got busy, and so I rescheduled, and then she was busy, so then we rescheduled for the following week. So I pushed it out a whole week.
I'll tell you what. I mean, not that you didn't look sharp last week, but this week you look real sharp.
I appreciate it.
What's up, bro? Thanks for tripping on. I hope you
get on
every 2 weeks, like a prima donna, at least look sharp.
Yeah. You know how it goes.
No, you got to keep. This is for the fans.
It's maintenance.
I'm the troll that makes you look spectacular. You got to keep that look up, man. That's what you got to do. What's up, Rita?
What's going on? Oh man, how's your week been? How was your week since the show?
It's been a week, dude.
Did you have a 3-day weekend or did you work on Monday?
I worked every single day.
You worked Monday?
Yeah, I worked Monday. I don't get Monday off. I get 5 holidays a year, Joe. Or 6 holidays a year. That's it. Those are all the other ones.
4th of July. So if I guess it's 4th of July,
mm-hmm.
New Year's Day,
mm-hmm.
4th of July.
Mm-hmm.
No, not Easter, because not Good Friday, right?
No.
Wow. So you don't get anything between New Year's Day to 4th of July, right? I can't think of a holiday between that, right?
Wow.
President's Day?
Memorial Day. Why do you hate veterans, Joe? Memorial Day, the start of summer. Come on, dude.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, okay. So
First Memorial Day, summer, middle of summer, July 4th, Labor Day, right? Yeah, and then
Labor Day,
Thanksgiving,
and Thanksgiving,
Christmas.
Thursday, Thanksgiving. Do you get Friday of Thanksgiving off?
Nope, I take PTO for that.
Okay, that's good. Yeah. That's I forget the industry. That's first off. You wonder why people hate Thanksgiving, like the people that are like ready to go to Christmas, like that whole Thursday, that solid Thursday holiday where companies don't make Friday a holiday as well, makes it so hard.
Yeah, no, capitalism sucks.
Yeah.
Capitalism sucks. Don't worry about it, dude.
That's killing us, baby.
What is the time off? What does that mean? I don't understand it. Like, I don't get our American addiction to working roles. I don't get it. People are like proud of saying that to me. They're like, oh,
No, that's one thing that what is it? Gen Z now, I guess is they're what is it? Quiet quitting is what they're calling it, or what is it?
I mean, that's what bosses call it. Like they're all these lazy Gen Zers.
Yeah, but it's you work as just the minimum amount that you're getting paid.
Yeah, which is a fair way to work, right? Why work in outside? I feel it's such a weird lesson because I think I learned that as a child, right? Like my mom and dad both work minimum amount to get paid. Why would you put an extra moment in for any of these folks? You also pooped on the job, everybody. You pooped on the job, as I understand. So,
yeah, absolutely.
It's good stuff. All right, let's roll the credits.
Let's roll these credits. Let's roll them, baby. Let's roll them. Hey everyone, welcome to Mid-Geek Crisis episode 202. That's nice. It's a good number. It's a palindrome, right? Palindrome?
That is a palindrome. Although, like 202 is such a short one, I feel like
I know.
22 is
Like,
a palindrome. 11's a palindrome. But 202 episodes is still an achievement.
It's an achievement for sure.
Yeah, no, it's good. Our next palindrome will be 212, everybody. So stay tuned. Yeah.
10 episodes from now.
10 more episodes, and then 10 more after that, and then 10 more after that. But whatever.
I used to be gung ho, work, never used PTO, but frankly, about 3 years ago, that changed. The fact that I no longer got paid out for unused PTO. Yeah.
Good for you, Rolls. Because all right, so then you just save that PTO, and then you get
What's going on,
payout. Always nice.
Yeah, no, I mean, I haven't. You know what? I've worked for some pretty big companies in my time. Yeah, big corporations. I've never worked at a job that paid out PTO.
My old job,
Big Bottler do it?
They paid out PTO like my first 2 years there, and then they just started giving unlimited PTO, right? So then now they didn't have to pay it out. Folks were like roles where they just worked all the time anyway, right? So with unlimited PTO, they didn't really keep track of my PTO once it would, and actually they called it vacation, not paid time off, which I feel like belittles what it actually is, right? It's vacation. It's not like, oh, we're paying you to stay at home and still check your emails and answer your phone, right? It's not paid time off, it's vacation.
My job is
what was your bonus for killing Fruitopia? For Scobie? That was the tears of so many teenagers.
Oh, look at this. We got a bot. We got a bot here.
That was my bonus.
Yeah, ignore the bot, folks. I don't have my anti-bot bot. We're not big enough for a bot. Like this guy's coming in. He's like, coming in here. Pathfinder for Pathfinder. Yeah, that's fair. But only slightly. Man, I never got into Pathfinder only because 3.5, like that was I got into 3 and then I jumped on the update for 3.5 and then all we did was play 3.5 and then Pathfinder just got more convoluted.
Yeah, Pathfinder's got a pretty good book. I mean, by all standards, it's a great role-playing game, right? And I guess they're going off and doing their own thing. So good luck to them.
What do they call big sandwiches in Canada? Stadium, like a fellow Canadian over here, Stadium.
Oh, Stadium Arts has got big sandwiches down there. They don't call them subs, heroes. Yeah,
well, I mean, like so Northeast is what are they hoagies? Are they hero sandwiches? What do you call them up there? Bread. Bravo. We call them subs. Yo, I'll get a cold cut combo if you're doing sub orders. There we go. That's right.
I mean, it's now canon. Stadium Canada.
Yeah, fair enough. With bread dongs.
There's gonna be a graphic whenever we're hungry. We're gonna throw up an order for some bread dongs. It's gonna be great.
Some Jersey Mike's bread dongs, baby.
Little Tim Hortons, some hockey, and a pair of bread dongs.
Oh, Canada. Oh man. Love you.
Well, thanks for joining us. Oh, and Go Astronaut Go. Thanks for jumping on. Appreciate it. We're being stupid all day long.
Oh man. Oh yeah, no. Yeah, so let's. Well, I mean, you brought up D&D. Everyone's talking about D&D. That seems to be the common theme here. So
do we have a graphic for victory for the fans? Is that we need a graphic for victory for the fans? We did it, everybody. No,
I'll get it. Okay,
well, so I don't know if folks read the news about the OGL for D&D, but Hasbro, or I should say Wizards of the Coast, and therefore Hasbro backed off with a very apologetic letter saying, hey, we hear you. We were trying to do this, and pretty much they were saying we were trying to protect our IP and aggressively make money off of it, but we realize now that you didn't really like how aggressive we got. And they backed off of it. I mean, the damage is done. They did lose a lot of subscriptions. That was part of it. I think the equation, somebody did the math and they lost more than they thought they would lose. And Pathfinder and some big companies, Kobold Press, decided to go on their own. They're going to go and make their own OGL that is more protective, because even at the end of this stupid story, the OGL 1.0A still doesn't protect the creators, right? It's still removable. It's still removable. It still doesn't give them what they thought they had, which is ownership of their rights, their products forever, which is a big pain in the butt.
Yeah, it's
says In IMPO, I don't know that one. In my personal opinion,
My personal
in corporations backpedal, it's not because they made a mistake. Oh, it's the perception of it is negative, and if no one said anything, they milk that guy dry. Fuck. So Stadium, I don't even know if it's the perception of it's negative. Some companies don't even care about negative press, right? As long as they're still making money, right? Think
Right.
about like Disney, right? They don't care as long as they're still making money. You can call Star Wars woke all day long, and
Pretty
they
much.
can still make money off of that. They don't care.
Yeah. Yeah. So we won. Woo. You know. There we go.
Well, I was joking around with Joe where I was like, "Oh, I subscribed to D&D Beyond and then canceled it, but it was for a whole year. So my bad, everybody. I didn't realize November I had actually just subscribed to the D&D Beyond, signed up for a full year, and then canceled it. But
I think that the key word that rolls is, as a company, you only apologize. I mean, isn't that the way of the world nowadays? I mean, this is a common thread in anything, in politics and everything. You only apologize if you get caught, right? Like you're only in trouble if you get caught. And by caught, I mean like it's a big enough stink.
Yes.
That but usually everyone gets caught and they're like, so what? But then eventually the money trail happens. And of course, the numbers backed up according to some reports out there and some behind the scenes individuals at Hasbro or Wizards of the Coast. I'm going to keep calling them Hasbro because it's easier. The rumor has it that there was 40,000 cancellations within the a leak of the OGL news. 40,000 is, I mean, it doesn't seem like a lot for a big company, but also D&D isn't exactly like HBO Max or Netflix, right? It's not I mean, it's a big deal. There's been millions of players, but out of the millions of players that play D&D, how many of them are actually D&D Beyond subscribers? And at the same time, how many out of those subscribers decided to cancel? And 40,000 seems like a pretty large number in the grand scheme of things. Again, I don't know the numbers. I don't know what the
and a tool that's relatively young, right? Like I don't know how many.
Yeah, because Beyond had only like really done its big upgrade like a year ago or so. Because
if that, right, the summer of 22, it wasn't even that long ago that they.
Yeah, because they were competing with, because everyone was still paying for Roll20, right?
Everyone was paying for rolls. I mean, they can't even compete with that yet. They don't have maps. They don't have ways to play D&D. They have a dice roller and a character builder, which are both very nice.
Yeah.
So we're
sorry. Totally.
So D&D Beyond is their website subscription service. So you can subscribe. You get a base level of access to all of their
you get like digital campaign versions. Yeah.
Yeah, you can create campaigns and invite other players. So one of the nice things about D&D Beyond, and which is why I did it, is a DM like me can purchase some content and then share it with my players in the campaign, and my players don't need to go out and buy the content digitally. Right. So basically it's almost like everyone can come to my table and read my books. So that's what I've done. I bought a bunch of books, mainly player books, so my players can use all the source books and mix and match as they want, and make their characters online. And then it's got a nice character sheet. I think it's got some other stuff. It has a really crappy
the dice roller. You stats get thrown up. I mean, it's Roll20.
The app on your phone allows you to look up spells and rules. It's actually very nice for the table. It's pretty cool. It's pretty neat. Oh, the game.
Yeah. That's kind of the best way to put it right there. It's that it's one cart, 4 players. It's the same. It basically it allowed you to, and the incentive for that type of subscription model would be that players that don't run games don't need to spend big money on D&D Beyond, right? But
correct.
If they make the D&D Beyond tiered, and then they allow the players, hey, the DM is paying, why don't we pay a bit? We throw money into the pot for the DM, and then we benefit because we're buying this big package. So basically, the idea would be, I don't remember how much it was for a year, but depending on the tier, you could then pay a bigger max and get more stuff for your entire campaign that would last.
Yes, exactly. You can share all your materials in multiple campaigns. You can blah, blah, blah. It was pretty nice. I mean, on the Hasbro side of it, obviously it creates people who are vested in D&D, right? Once I buy these digital products, I can't take them anywhere else. Right. I've now paid to be in part of this walled garden, which I'm going to keep trying to get my value out of and use it, right? So all my players now have to go to D&D and Beyond and make their characters. We're starting up our campaign in February. I'm like, hey, it's open. Go sign up and make your characters.
Yeah. And so, like I said, the press release was essentially Wizards of the Coast pretty much were like, we're sorry, we didn't mean to do this. And honestly, so again, play devil's advocate here, because all corporations are evil in their own way.
They all want to make money at the end of the day.
The bigger kerfuffle of all of this was that, and this kind of goes in line with all gaming, right? The game developers aren't the evil ones usually. The game developers are the ones working the grinding the midnight hours to put out your game. The evil ones are the publishers. They're the ones that are like, cracking the whip for these players, doing the crunch time, causing the weird like sexual harassment changes and whatnot, not protection, not giving, union busting, all that kind of stuff that tends to happen from the higher up. And this is the same scenario. Hasbro, again, like we talked about last week, saw money left on the table, and they want more of that money because they are noticing that all of these content creators are making tons of money off of their IP. And they're like, wait a minute.
Not tons, good money, not tons.
Well, I mean, it adds up, right? I mean, never. I mean, we've talked about it on the show. Never in the history of all tabletop has D&D been as big as it is, right?
Right. I mean,
it was big back in the day, but it was also kind of like, shh, don't tell anyone you play this game. Now it's like,
yeah. I mean, the fact that we're getting another D&D movie with some top tier actors in it is a big deal, right?
Yeah. Or the fact that you can walk into like Target or Walmart and see a D&D shirt hanging on the rack.
It's 1982 all over again. I'm with you on this.
Yeah, it just doesn't.
The shelves are full of Star Wars toys and D&D books. Is it the 80s again?
Yeah, of course it is. And also, flip phones are apparently a thing right now. Like apparently, like all of these, like the younger Gen Z. I'm gonna forget whatever the newest generation. They're bringing back flip phones. They're like finding their old.
Flip phones I don't want to spoil it, but flip phones and Walkmans are coming back, right?
Yeah, yeah. So we'll talk about that in a little bit for sure. But
the Flip Z and the Fold Z, we're the boomers. Look at me.
Are we the boomers now, or is that?
No, I mean, I look forward to the Generation Z taking over. I don't really want to work anymore. I want to retire. Help me out, Generation Z. Are we the bad? No, so
yeah, exactly.
They said that they have pledged to rewrite the OGL. However, damage is done. Paizo, which is one of the larger publishers, they make Pathfinder game, which was mentioned before, has basically said, hey, we've gotten together with these other big presses. Kobo Press is another large one, and we're going to create our own OGL. Not only that, we're going to take this OGL and sell it or give it to like a company built around open source, like Linux. Folks who are Wikipedia, folks who are known for protecting and preserving OGL rights, open rights. So
I know
that's going to be a big change. It'll be interesting what happens, right? How do you make your own OGL, but not like there's got to be some lawyer leaps that have to occur to make an OGL that's like D&D, but not D&D. I don't know how that works. But it's going to be pretty cool. I like the idea of this because, hey, we get more role-playing games, right? We don't get the dominant Dorito-flavored Dungeons & Dragons, and we get all this other cool stuff.
I'm sure that's a tie-in somehow, right?
I'm sorry, what? Doritos?
I'm sure there's been we talked about it last year. There was a Nerds Candy D&D tie-in.
Yeah, there was. But you know what? It's so perfect, though. Doritos and Dungeons and Dragons. You got the 3Ds. Everyone loves 3D. Wait.
The Mountain Dew, where where's the Cheetos?
Dungeons and Doritos. That's exactly. Yeah, they can make it happen. I'm really surprised they haven't.
I'm sure we've missed the boat and it's been out there. I'm sure it was out there somewhere.
I'm sure Mountain Dew has missed the boat. All right, it probably is what's happened. Right, they have too busy working on their starry version of Sierra Mist, whatever the heck product.
But yeah, like I said, we're if we're gonna play devil's advocate here, all of this, I don't want to side with Hasbro, but I'm definitely going to side on the developer side here, where these guys really didn't agree with this change. Like you could tell, like there was a lot of backlash even within. I mean, the leak was coming from within. The moment the news hit,
phone calls were all coming from inside the house.
Yeah, they were all yelling and kind of like, "Hey, by the way, here's some internal memos, here's some internal emails. This is all happening." So there was never a point where they denied it. There was never a point that Hasbro was like, no, none of that. That's a leak. Where did that leak come from? No. The leak was so massive that it was pretty much a press release without a press release.
Yeah. And there was talk about, So there was leaks about the strategy. There was, it was a real mess. It was a real mess and perfectly timed around Christmas time, right? It was like a gift for all of us post-Christmas to deal with all this nonsense, and then turned around pretty quick. They changed their mind. So good on them. The landscape has changed, though, right? I think the landscape has changed. Oh, we're
Yeah,
gonna see a lot of that
they've
D&D
definitely
fun.
soiled.
Yeah.
They've
Left
soiled the
everyone with a
ground.
bad taste in their mouth.
Hmm.
And I think a lot of creators out there who relied on the OGL to feed their families, pay their mortgages, cover their bills, got shook. They
Yeah, I
realized
mean
that they were
that little
totally dependent.
startup show, that small little show, that tiny show. I'm sure they were hurting. They were feeling it. They were. I
Low
think that they
reviews,
were.
1 star Critical Role.
Yeah. That really tiny show out there that doesn't make any money whatsoever. That would have hurt their bottom line completely. They came out day one with a. Oh no, wait, no. They announced and they put their stance up after
After,
Hasbro.
yeah, no, very safe, very conservative.
Very safe, making sure that there was no biting to the hand that feeds. They pretty much, they're like, we stand behind creators. The beauty of this game comes from the opportunity to share inclusive, diverse, Critical Role diverse. Okay. Compelling stories from wide spectrum of creators. That's exactly why we launched our own game publishing company a few years ago. Our own stuff.
Yep.
But at the same time, we partnered with D&D and had a book and a whole campaign.
Dude, that's okay, man.
The success we've experienced is thanks to the passion and interest of the greater tabletop community, and we commit to fostering an environment that allows everyone the opportunity to easily share the stories they wish to tell.
Yeah. I mean, meanwhile, I watched a couple of videos about Critical Role. Critical Role fans, the one theory that I found most interesting is that Critical Role's current campaign, which I'm not watching, is already writing out all of the D&D related stuff, right? So they're already starting to cut away all the D&D OGL related things and move towards their own property, which is good. Good for them. A lot of folks have made games and then made their own games, right? So I'm excited. This is going to be great. Are we the baddies? Wow, you found that quick.
I put it up there.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That's exactly right. And if you're a fan of Critical Role, more power to you.
More power to you. Again, we on this, me personally, I've always been one of the ones. I don't like the way that it plays. I think we've been very vocal, non-vocal in the fact that Critical Role sets this precedence where it seems like that's the way you have to play D&D.
Yeah.
And everyone after that kind of comes to the table expecting the grand spectacle that is Critical Role style D&D.
Also, that they're all actors, right?
So, they're all actors. That's the one thing that
not my jam.
Yeah, so not my style of game, but it happens. Yep. Yeah. So anywho, that all said, what's the alignment chart for Dorito flavors?
So Cool Ranch is obviously lawful good, right? I mean, there's nothing more lawful good than Cool Ranch Doritos. It's the lamest of all the Doritos. I will die in that hill, everyone. Cool Ranch Doritos is the lamest of all Doritos.
Yeah,
I think sweet chili may be neutral evil. It's the best flavor and the best alignment.
That's a bold one. I will say that what's the chaotic evil?
Chaotic evil? I mean, there's like a flaming hot Dorito that just isn't good tasting, but I don't know what the chaotic evil would be. Cool Ranch plus sweet chili heat in the same. I mean, sweet chili is by far the best. So, like, all right, go Astronaut, go. I know combo. You personally. Yeah, I also play Paladins. I was going to say, often you're the most lawful good guy I know. So,
I'm a. What's interesting is I'm a classic nacho, like the nacho flavor guy. But I do like the traditional nacho flavor, but I also like the new spicy nacho, right? Is what they call it, which is just nacho with like
neutral good. That goes up. Neutral good.
That goes up, right? Right.
Yep.
Neutral good. Yeah,
sweet chili, neutral good. Evil because it's a little bit more spicy.
More spicy.
Maybe salsa verde. You move it over to neutral, chaotic neutral, the super spicy. You know what? Chaotic evil. No, I don't know what chaotic evil is.
Chaotic evil is chaotic evil has got to be. Hold on, I'm gonna throw it up.
It's the flavor you never find anywhere, but you want it so bad. Where
no, we got you.
You got it. Is it Mountain Dew flavored? Is that what you're gonna throw up? But that's chaotic. That's chaotic good because that's the crazy one, right? Smoky red barbecue Doritos. That is I don't think I've ever tried
chaotic evil. Chaotic evil is this bad boy right here.
All right, I want to see it. Put it up. Oh, boo! Boo! Was that even like what is that? 2 Doritos in that bag? What is
you remember? I still have my bag of those.
Of course you do.
Oh good man, kryptonite flavor. I love the fact that they thought that was a thing. Like, we'll make them kryptonite flavor. Who's gonna eat those? Those are like poison. Understand? Yeah, let me eat these.
I would eat kryptonite Doritos and then make out with Superman. That's what I would do, Joe. There was one flavor that was so gross. I actually called Frito-Lay to tell them to cancel it.
Did you field that call?
You picked up a phone, like a smartphone, and called them up to be like, "This flavor is terrible."
Oh man, let's
good. For the record, handing out Frito-Lay coupons was the standard play, right? So it's just, hey, here's some free products. Go away. Is always the way you do it.
The worst, I think, my least favorite, besides the joke, that taco flavor.
Taco flavor, yeah. Most taco flavors aren't very good.
That and this abomination, which just like I'm like, what is this?
Cheetos,
I remember when this came
Doritos. That's did I dream that maybe? Cheetos flavored Doritos, just toasted corn. Lawful evil, toasted corn.
What is that? That's just Doritos. It's just a corn chip. It's just a corn chip.
That's not real. That's a Photoshop, right?
No, that's a real flavor. This is the Dorito Wiki, by the way, folks.
It's good toasted.
It's corn. The Dorito Wiki.
That purple bag. That purple bag made me so hungry for some Doritos. Oh.
Yeah, and there's the Mountain Dew, of course, the Mountain Dew flavor.
That's chaotic evil, I think, is the Mountain Dew flavor.
Yeah, they used to do that. They used to do the 2 flavors in the bag thing where you would have like the dip, like they would have the buffalo flavor with the ranch or the Cool Ranch.
Those were good.
Cool combo.
I like that. There wasn't always the right ratio.
Yeah, here we go. Like the collision, zesty taco and chipotle ranch.
Yeah, so I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they. Those food scientists never stop to think to themselves, maybe we shouldn't make this flavor. We can, but we shouldn't. No, and I love the guy who's like, what if we just took all the flavor off of it? What flavor is that? It's a Tostito, bro. It's a Tostito.
It's a Tostito. So messed up. Toasted corn. Oh man. Yeah, no, yeah. That's where we are, folks. Speaking of capitalism, speaking of capitalism, and how we were talking, Hasbro and Disney have a big, good combo, good relationship, right? Like you've got Star Wars and Hasbro go hand in hand. They make all the toys, a lot of the merchandising and all that.
Plus, but it looks like he owns every property in the world, so you got to be.
Yeah, it looks like Disney is coming in hot here with their own competitor, which is not actually being created or published or whatever by Wizards of the Coast, with a Magic the Gathering style
collectible card game. I'm not gonna lie, that art looks really nice.
Looks really good.
Looks really nice.
Looks really good.
This was a weird one, right? So it's a collectible card game, which already I'm like, oh no, not.
Yeah, we talked about this. We talked about this over the summer. They had a D23, and they had the collectible. They had the special cards that were only released at D23. They were specific editions that were gonna be rare because they got the D23 logo on them, that sort of thing on them. But
they're already selling for ridiculous amounts of money. For
yeah.
They got a bunch of different packs. They got rares, super rares, legendary rares. They got all sorts of wild stuff. The thing that I hope the sets are small because they're releasing 4 sets a year, which is a lot.
three different starter sets. Decks comprising of 60 cards. The decks are Amber and Amethyst. Emerald and Ruby, Steel and Sapphire.
Each deck also has Pokemon editions.
Yeah. One of which is a foil, and 2 of which are rare, super rare, and legendary.
Yeah. They got some foil cards. This is all normal. Pokemon releases sets this complicated all the time. Booster packs are where it's at. Deck boxes are all set. Classic. The first chapter, I guess they're releasing 4 chapters a year. The art is fantastic for these cards.
Yeah, they got some good artists who are working on this.
And probably there's like neat ways they interact. You're probably going to be surprised by some of the, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not like,
here's what I like. Can I just Joe? They are launching it at local game stores first, and then 2 weeks later, it's going to show up in all the retail outlets. So this is kind of a neat way to launch it. Get the people back to the local game store, pick up the cards, spend some money at your local shop, and then you can go to Target or Amazon or get them online or whatever you'd like to do.
Kenner was bought by Hasbro many years ago, man. Like Kenner does not exist. As a matter of fact, you'll see.
I love you. Kenner Toys, like that's like, I love you.
But you know what's hilarious is when they do throwback stuff, they still own the Kenner name, so they'll throw a packaging up with the Kenner logo on there, but it's Hasbro, so it's all Hasbro now.
Yeah, it's always been Hasbro, bro. It's just right there at the top, always. So, that's why the toys aren't very good.
yeah.
So it's pretty cool. If you like collectible card games, pick up that Mickey Mouse
we've talked about on the show about licensed stuff, right? Like licensed board games aren't always the best. Sometimes they're a little too much, especially the board games. They've always got too much. What's the term on tabletop where it's got too many things, too many parts, too many like.
Oh, I don't know if there's a specific term. There's always too much stuff, too much fluff.
Too much fluff, too much chuff, too much. There's
chuff.
like
there you go, too much chuff. It's just too much sometimes. 55 expansions, Kickstarter, bloat is often
bloat. Yeah, I mean
bloat.
And it's because when you've got a property, you want to fit all of the property within this board game. So like,
and as quickly as you can, because those license agreements have.
They've got a shelf life.
They've got a shelf life. So at any point, Disney could pull the license agreement out from Fantasy Flight Games. Well, they've invested in all these molds, all these boxes, all this artwork. They got to get out as much of this Star Wars stuff as they can. So
yeah.
Also, they make a limited edition. Have you noticed that? Like 5 years ago, there was the Darth Vader Star Wars Legion set. Then there was the Ben Kenobi Star Wars Legion set, and so they've switched now to the Attack of the Clones set, and then
so the initial starter set is now out of print.
Yeah, completely. A lot of that old stuff is out of print. They revised the X-wings, so they're trying to refresh it all, which is kind of cool. But also,
which is cool. But yeah, this is so. But with all that said, though, some of the bigger properties like Star Wars, of course, everyone buys those type of games because it's Star Wars. It already has kind of like a tie to tabletop. But when you take a big property. Good example like this right here, like this, Street Fighter. Street Fighter's been thrown up multiple companies have tried to make like a Street Fighter fighting game or a card game or whatever, and it never sticks. It gets out there, people talk about it, people play it for a little bit, and then it goes away. Big popular properties, cartoons, pop culture stuff, it comes and goes, it never sticks. The board games are always like sold at like Target or Walmart, and they're not tabletop games. They're money making games.
Right.
This said that this game does feel a little different, and just like you said, the fact that it's being sold at comic and card shops day one before it gets put out on the shelves at Walmart and Target
adds some legitimacy. It's not
adds a little bit of legitimacy. I agree.
It's also by Ravensburger Games, which is a legit game company. It's not like it's put out by, I don't know, Skybox Games or someone you never heard of. Skybox Games might be a real games company, so I don't mean that, but
Skybound is the one. Yeah, Skybound. They put out the Walking Dead stuff and all of that. So they always tend to put out.
They might put out. It looks like Ravensburger is not going to put their name on a game they're not proud of, because they put out a lot of other games. They were an important game design company, and they've made some cool games. Rolls says he's looking for a Jar Jar set. Yeah. Okay.
Right there. Yeah. I'm sure it'll happen. I mean, everything. We thought the prequels sucked, right? Like we thought it wasn't a good thing, and now like
I still do.
Like the modern generation loves them. They think they're.
They're wrong. They're wrong.
I agree, but
no, you know what? I will say I rewatched them again with my daughter, and we agreed, my daughter and I, that Phantom Menace was good, and the other two were just confusing messes. Even she said it. She was like,
"Wait, whoa, really? Phantom Menace was good?
Phantom Menace holds up. You watch Attack of the Clones again, and you're like, this is trash.
Well, I mean,
the characters are boring. The love story is garbage. It's the worst of the trilogy by far, the worst of all 9 movies by a million years. And then the Revenge of the Sith isn't what revenge is he taking? What's happening here? What is the crux of what happens there? The only scene you get to enjoy are some Padawans getting murdered, and that happens off camera. So that's spoilers, everyone, right? Like the lava scene fight, while technically nice, is still a CGI battle. There's whole scenes where Ewan McGregor. You know what? Why am I ranting about Star Wars? I just saw them recently. Phantom Menace was watchable. It was actually a good story for Giving to Men. What?
Hello there. Just him landing there, like just like.
He must have been so excited that there was another human for him to interact with, right? Like he just spent the whole time.
Yeah.
Attack of the Clones worse than Rise of Skywalker. Yes.
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 I agree.
Yes.
This is where at least you
I
and
don't
I
even know
can.
if that's a hot take. That's obvious. If
I
you
mean,
like
everyone,
movies,
so this is so. What's interesting is all the old heads, us, hate the new three. They hate them,
I
right?
don't hate
And
them.
the generation that grew up with the prequels hates the new ones too. But I guarantee you, in 20 years from now, kids like my kiddo who grew up, who likes watching these three, are going to be the ones on whatever social media network defending these and saying that they're
Remaking them.
cool.
Yeah.
Because you know what? I hopped on right when the last one, when Rise of Skywalker came out, I hopped on Twitter and said that I tried to watch the prequels and they were trash, and I got trounced on Twitter. And it was all like early 20-year-olds that were just like bashing me in on
Like, who
Twitter
are
saying,
these kids?
and I was
Get away,
like,
kids! I can fight you all.
Like, it feels like I'm taking crazy pills. Like, I remember these movies. They were horrible movies. These are bad movies. And all of a sudden, no, he's so great. Christian Hansen was so amazing. Blah, blah, blah. The love story, the attack on the turn. I'm like, did we watch the same movie?
That
Like, I don't.
love story is atrocious. All I discovered was that he hated sand and she was boring.
Yeah.
I'm all right with the last three. Yeah, I'm all right with the last three.
Yeah, I have no problem with them. They're not the direction I would have taken on each one of them.
Yeah, but
there's definitely
watching a last cavalry charge across the deck of a Star Destroyer. I'm just like, all right, I'm signed up for this. Let's do it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Let's do it.
Riding space horses and
horses.
Yeah, but go. Do you remember when Last Jedi came out? How much people hated that movie? Like the flux from that movie to the next one was so like visceral. Like all of a sudden they're like, wait, we hated on Rian Johnson, but this one's worse. No, we like Last Jedi now. We should have gone with that direction. Like, you don't know what you like. Oh man.
Well, I just think that Rise of Skywalker was so disappointing that Last Jedi got better in review. Mandalorian and Andor are the best Star Wars that have been since Empire. So you didn't like Rogue One? That's it.
Well, no, but I think, and again, this goes back to the whole Andor is good because Rogue One is good, and Andor is just the first part of Rogue
whatever.
One.
I still haven't seen it because I'm not inspired to watch more prequels. Like I just can't do it.
I have an argument about my friends liked it and didn't like it. Yeah, you know, I mean, it seems
He's
to
got
be
one. He's got one.
It seems to be a hot take. It's the modern hot take of you know, it's the modern hot take, right? If you like any of the new three, and you're older than like 30, somehow or another, you're like spitting in the face of like of history or something. Like I don't understand.
Tell me you're 30 and a Star Wars fan without telling me, right?
Yeah, right.
Rian Johnson should make a Star Wars themed Knives Out movie. You know, he's already making a Muppets one, right? maybe this is untapped. Yes. This is a good idea, Dan. And welcome, thanks for jumping on. So yeah, that's a really
mystery. It is, yes. Oh man. So since we're
is that your mic's cutting out, Joe? Yeah, I don't know what happened. Yeah,
is it there? Is it back?
Now it's back. Yes, it's back.
All right. Yeah, it's cutting out because I'm stupid. So let me change that real quick.
Okay. Pre-ordering IMAX tickets now, right? Like a Star Wars Knives Out's actually pretty cool. Lightsabers out, and we could just rock out a murder mystery in the Star Wars universe. Let's do that.
How's that? Mike still there?
Whoa, you're coming in loud and
clear now, huh? All right, fair enough. That's better. Yeah, let's talk about it because of course yesterday at halftime in the middle of the foosball game.
Yes.
For anyone who watched that was nice to see. It was like a hate game because I'm not a Cowboys fan at all, and at the same time I'm not a Tom Brady fan at all, and the Cowboys destroyed Tom Brady, so it was like,
who cares?
They got like, what's happening here? But at halftime,
I thought Tom Brady retired.
He didn't. Well, he retired, but then he invested all in crypto, right? And then he divorced.
I dig it.
So he has to come back and get a big old contract to pad the retirement fund.
Damn, it was wonderful. That's a Red Sox fan mentality. When you take joy in someone else losing, and that means you're a loser, Joe. You cannot do that. You cannot take joy in other.
There's a there's
Hey,
a
thanks for jumping on, Blockbuster.
what's going on? There's a reverse Schadenfreude word now that everyone like. Apparently, it's like a modern word that's in German. It's like Fluffenfrog or something like that. It's like the opposite of so taking joy in someone else's like pain or whatever. And now it's like taking joy in someone else's joy.
See, that's good. That's what we should.
It's a good
do.
one. We
should celebrate. So the Cowboys beat Tom Brady. So Cowboys go on. And
they move on. They'll lose the next round. They always lose.
Are they playing in the Super Bowl or is this?
No.
Sorry,
This was wild card nonsense. So like they
wild
gotta play.
Card nonsense.
They gotta play the next round. But that said, though, at halftime,
video sources don't call me Blockbuster. Just call me Tim.
Yeah, you're Blockbuster, baby.
Yeah, you're Blockbuster.
You're Blockbuster. So
if you were G.I. Joe, Tim, you'd be Blockbuster. It'd be sweet. Don't worry, we'll make it with the best big guy.
Let's go, baby.
Like stars in the galaxy. What are we? What do we stand for?
More taste.
Being a Mandalorian is not just learning about how to fight. You also have to know how to navigate the galaxy. That way, you'll never be lost.
Okay, so it's Mandalorian the road trip.
I'm going to Mandalore so that I may be forgiven for my transgressions.
May the Force be with you!
This is the way.
There's something dangerous happening out there. And by the time it becomes big enough for you to act, it'll be too late.
Hang on, kid. This is the way.
That's exciting.
Yeah, that's we can agree that that's the best Star Wars anything that we've had in a long time.
Yes, it's excellent. I hope it returns.
It's original, right? Can we count it as original?
It's Western themed is very good. I worry about the Yoda or Grogu kid thing where I don't know.
Nice.
I mean, I'm there for the pew pew. I'm around for the pew pew. Let's get some blasters going. Let's
and again,
let's learn a little bit more about the Mandalorian. Let's have
Book of Boba Fett was meh until it became the Mando, right? That like mini season that we got from that, and as soon as they introduced Mando back in, and that's when the show got like yes.
Well, that guy did was hand out jobs. He was just a job creator, Joe. The Book of Boba Fett was terrible.
Yeah.
Did you know the Mando stuntman is John Wayne's grandson? I had no idea. See, this is a deep connection.
It's a deep cut there, Dan. Look at that. Bring in the deep cuts.
It's good. It's the knowledge. Always stuck it up.
No,
no, it's Grogu. Isn't it Grogu? Is it not Grogu?
It's Grogu. It's Grogu.
Right.
Can't base it on the trailer, but I think we all agree that season 3 of any show typically where they jump the shark. But this doesn't. Yeah, but I agree with you there, Roland. But the slow burn of Mando has been the. I mean, let's be honest here. This is taking. This is Lone Wolf and Cub, taking straight out of like the Japanese like on a quest story arc, and it works. I can't imagine they do anything in season 3 that's gonna like jump the shark, because the quest has always been the initial quest was get him to, I don't know what to do with this kid, and then the next season was like, I got to get him to his people, and then by the time that happened, he was like, I can't be without him. This person has changed me.
Yeah,
now,
it's a neat group of arcs. I'm with you, and then also I'm going to travel with this kid, which is great.
So now, by the third one, right? So at the end, or what happens in that little mini part of Book of Boba is the fact that Grogu doesn't want to be a Jedi. He's like, I saw what happened to the Jedi. I don't want to be there. I feel safe with
How
this
did he
person.
see what happens to the Jedi? I don't understand.
He was there. He was a Padawan. When the slaughter happened.
How do we know that?
That happened. Like when
I must have burned it out of my brain because I was like, don't make this connected to the.
well,
What is this trap?
I mean, that's the only way that you could have, like, where was this kid for sensitive kid? And that's what happened is he was on Coruscant at the academy when the younglings were being slaughtered. And
so that would make him 20 years old and still a baby? Is that
50?
what I'm
That's the thing, is he's over 50 years old.
I fucking hate this.
They mentioned that in season 2.
To not disappoint you, I fucking hate Grogu with the heat of 1,000 suns.
Grogu, like that's been the interesting part, right? Like
it's funny they jumped the shark when they added Luke Skywalker. If I'm honest, right? Like they were
this guy, look at him. It's like all the hate I feel, but make it boil.
Yeah.
No, remember,
where's the Dark Jedi? Where are my heroes? Joe,
the gray Jedi, the gray Jedi. Yeah, Yoda is 900. Look how small he is. Yeah, so the idea is that Grogu, the aging of this race is unknown. I mean, hell, we don't even have a freaking name for this race, right?
So with every addition to the Star Wars universe, they destroy the canon.
I agree, but this isn't. Let's be honest. This isn't Mando. This isn't like a Metachlorian level of awfulness, right?
But what point is Obi-Wan saying the Jedi are all dead when in fact they're all fucking alive, running around on every other planet?
See,
right?
So that was. I agree. Okay,
all this is.
So I agree with you.
How evil could Darth Vader have been if he let all the Jedi get away? He fails to even kill kids.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. How do we talk about Star Wars again?
I mean, the idea that these mythical badass space knights, space samurais, were just like slaughtered by Order 86 or whatever, Order 66, or they all over the galaxy is asinine to me. They weren't all near him, and a lot of them had to have gotten away. A lot of them used obscured. I mean, they were all trained warriors, and these clones were not that great. Like it took.
But the message, I agree with you. Except the one message, if you can take anything out of George Lucas's thread in the first 3 movies, that the Jedi were full of hubris.
Yeah,
they thought they could do it all, and they could not. Right?
I agree,
right?
But then
they're hiding, cautious. They don't know, but it turns out that they do, because if you've got a little Yoda baby, you can find 2 Jedi in 2 planets, right? Like it's not like
not only that. So let's fuel this hate, folks. Remember the Jedi. They have that like force signal. What does he do? He goes out to like the freaking. So apparently, Darth Vader didn't know this existed, so he couldn't have just walked up to this thing and like used his force abilities to call another Jedi and then like just kill him one by one. Be like, I'll just call him to me. Right?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, so I can't. Some of it makes no sense, and I tend to ignore all the Jedi stuff. And as Go Astronaut Go says, Cowboy Samurai show the same way Star Wars originally was Lucas doing a Cowboy Samurai movie. So I'm just gonna enjoy the Cowboy Samurai stuff.
Yeah.
I don't need to worry about Grogu. And every time Grogu comes on, I'll roll my eyes and I'll move on with the rest of it.
Star Wars is strictly a fever dream of Liam Neeson as he was healing from his wounds. Yes. So wait. So is he? So he's not on a Bacta tank. He's like in a ice tub full of bathtub full of ice. Like
that's how Liam Neeson does it.
There you go. Fair enough.
That's how he does it. Yes. So also I forgot to, when you watch the first 3, Phantom Menace and those 3, you realize as you like start looking at who apprenticed who, it turns out Yoda, by transitive property, did apprentice Vader. So it's actually Yoda's fault that we have Vader, because like his student was Count Dooku. Count Dooku's student was Qui-Gon. Qui-Gon's student was Kenobi. So that whole school of thought, it's all Yoda's fault.
It's all Yoda's fault.
It's all Yoda's fault.
It's all Yoda's fault. And then of course that's why in the sequels you've got him like, burn the trees, burn the sacred task. He's like, none of that stuff matters.
Plan the whole time.
he's the evil one. He's been the evil one the whole time. I mean, right. They all do go in hiding. They all go to hiding because they all. There's this. I don't know.
That's because that's the trope of the master samurai, Joe.
Right.
That's the trope of the master.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
disarmed
outside of
myself, and I must hide in the desert.
yeah, I must go and meditate and
Yeah.
be one with. I cannot follow the violence. I can't condone this. Like, my presence is what causes harm, so I will hide away.
Defending their god.
Yeah.
They abandoned us. But it's okay because all you got to do is send out a signal, and Asaka, who was Anakin's apprentice, right?
Yeah.
Padawan,
Yep.
will show up and take over. It's great. It's good.
Yep.
So anyway, I'm looking forward to it. It should be fun. I feel like I need to watch Andor, but I just every time I go to the Disney station, I'm like, I don't know. I'll come back to it.
I'll come back to it. I mean, but honestly, I mean, it's the quest for more money, right? And we're okay with that, but it's just capitalism, baby, right?
Always with the capitalism.
I'm escaping to the one place that hasn't been corrupted by capitalism. Space!
That like heavy breathing before you got space is so. It kills me every time, man. That kills me every time.
That is a permanent addition to the show, by the way. It is there. It has to be there. It's one of my favorite clips of capitalism ever. It's also Tim Curry. So
It's also Tim Curry. It's fantastic.
And it has space in it.
It's completely made me forget what I was going to ask you. It's just fantastic. Why is he? Is this your first time with Tim Curry, Dan?
Tim Curry, some space. Oh man, that's Command and Conquer, baby. Command and Conquer.
Bring it back like it's 1980 something.
Yeah. Not hashtag not an ad. Yeah, no, totally. You're absolutely right. Speaking of Command and Conquer, CNC Remaster is $2.99 on Steam right now. So yeah, go check
that's
it out.
great.
Yeah,
did you buy it and add it to your collection of games you haven't played yet on your Steam library? Is that what
I already had it already. I bought it.
Take a sip. Yeah. Take a sip whenever a game goes on sale, and you haven't played it yet.
Delicious backlog that I'll never go through. I've come, I'm going to be 42 this year, so I've come to the conclusion that I'll never get through my backlog. I will die with the backlog. But
will you keep adding to it? Is the question.
Of course, and then I'll bequeath it to my kids.
Here you go, children. An obligation you will never.
Daddy's Steam account.
Oh, that's actually pretty nice.
Yeah.
Tim says Solo killed the Star Wars movies. I think this is in response to someone asking
what is
about
this? Solo? What? There was no Solo movie.
There was. I haven't seen it. But
exactly. There was no Solo movie, and you can just ignore
Are there any plans for another Star Wars world movie in the works? Haven't heard. You know what? Are there Star Wars movies that they're thinking about doing? I think they're testing the waters with all these series, right? They're trying to.
Well, I think they realize that the series they can make more money off of them. They just keep using the Tatooine set and make more and more of them.
It's like Star Trek, right? Where it's just like yet another rocky planet that looks kind of like the wilderness of LA, right? Exactly.
Utah, right? It's Utah.
Was it Utah? I don't even know.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Utah or Nevada.
What are they?
Yeah,
There's a list.
You're absolutely right. Killed. That is not dead. You can have eternal life forever and ever.
So, so we've got a Taika Waititi Star Wars movie that's coming out. We don't have a name for it. He's brought on to make a movie, and then we've got Damon Lindelof's. He's got another movie that's coming out, a Star Wars movie. We've got directors tied to movies. Sean Levy is doing a Star Wars movie, and then we've got Star Wars Rogue Squadron. We've got an actual show that's coming out, and then we've got apparently Rain Johnson is being given a whole movie trilogy. So
good. Hopefully he gets to remake 4, 5, 6 because that's gonna really make the fans happy. That's what I want. I want
from the perspective of R2D2. The entire movie is like follows R2D2, but at that point he's gonna meet everyone. Like he'll meet everyone. He'll meet like Darth Vader's mom who didn't really die, and all these things are just gonna fill in all these people.
The whole trigger for the rewrite the whole series by remaking 4, 5, 6. That's genius.
Yeah. They're doing a Rogue Squadron is being Patty Jenkins was according to was going to be doing it, but I think she's still on it. So there's a creative difference between Patty Jenkins and Lucasfilm separated the project. But it hasn't been canceled. So it's still there. It's still out there. It's in the process. There's a logo and everything. So yeah, for sure. So that is happening. Kind of like, yeah, exactly. Kind of like Lion King 1, which is a great movie. If anyone hasn't seen that movie, Lion King 1.5, fantastic. It's a movie that takes place all from the perspective of Timon and Pumbaa. So it's happening during Lion King 1, but it's like everything that happens, Timon and Pumbaa just run around in the background and whatnot. They were always there.
You just take on it.
Yeah.
So, it was a very amusing way to do it. Let's see here. I want Crybaby Anakin from episode 2 to remake Empire. Empire Strikes Back, actually. Yeah, why not?
Oh, yeah. You want yes. Okay. You want Hayden Christensen. But again, Hayden is not a bad actor. He was just directed horribly, right? Like we've all agreed to that.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, directed horribly, but I don't know that Anthony Hopkins could have saved that script.
Yeah,
there's no actor on the planet that could have saved that script.
Yeah.
So what else? What else we got? No Star Wars games coming up, as far as I know. Are you playing?
There's a lot of games coming out this year. I mean, we've talked about them at length here. We're finally getting, a good. I'll run through a quick list of things just that I'm remember. So, Baldur's Gate 3 is coming out finally. I mean, that's a weird game because you feel like it's already been out.
Beta for like 2 years,
but it's in beta / early release. So that's finally coming out. We're getting the Dead Cells expansion, the Return to Castlevania, which was a weird tie-in, but I am all for it. You weren't here for the show, but they announced that it was the Castlevania DLC for Dead Cells.
I don't need to go back to Dead Cells. I have to not go back to Dead Cells.
That's impossible.
I barely avoided that obsession.
Fire Emblem this Friday.
Cool.
Yeah. Diablo 4 that comes out soon. Final Fantasy 16. Forsaken should be out soon. I think January 24th is a release date for that. That's a big one. It's a former Final Fantasy 15 developer in Britain. It's a Western writer. It's like a modern woman goes into old like Final Fantasy world. So it's like her language is very modern and very like.
All right.
She's in the trailer looks great.
Forsaken is the name of it?
Yeah, Forsaken. So that's coming out soon. Hades 2, of course, is going to go into early access as well. Hogwarts Legacy is coming out soon. Whether you want to buy it or not is up to you. Hollow Knight, Silk Song. So we're getting the sequel to that. That's supposed to be coming out this year.
Wow.
And there's a lot. Like a Dragon, the next game in the Yakuza series is coming out, the Ishii. So we're getting...
It's a big year.
Yeah, no, Marvel Spider-Man 2 is coming out. What else? Octopath Traveler 2, Oxenfree 2.
I think I still might be playing Persona 5 Royale, for the record. It goes on forever. Forspoken is basically Army of Darkness Final Fantasy. Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, essentially you get that like one person that gets brought back that gets
not shot. Forsaken, Forspoken.
Forspoken. Thank you. I read that. I saw the word and I know what it is, but like my head says
Forspoken. Good. All right.
Forspoken. Thank you. Payday 3 is coming out.
Really?
Yeah. So that's supposed to be coming out this year. It's been in development since
I'll
2017.
be honest, that might bring the gang back together. I really enjoyed Payday 2. I might have to see who I can recruit to join my Payday 2 gang. So
yeah. So Redfall from Bethesda, that's one that I've been looking forward to. We'll see what happens. Speaking of controversy, like this is reminding me. So let's see if I don't want to look up the screenshot, but you can go look it up online. The game that's been in really long development, the Suicide Squad versus the Justice League. It's Rocksteady's big next game.
Okay. I assume it's a tactical grid-based XCOM game where the DC heroes fight each other.
It is a tactical team-based shooter
game.
Shooter, third person, I think.
Okay. So Overwatch 2.
Kinda, maybe. I don't know. Well, we didn't know. Like we saw some gameplay footage where like you've got like it's like King Shark and Captain Boomerang and Harley Quinn and you've got these characters and Deadshot. They're all characters of the Suicide Squad, and you play as them taking out the Justice League. Because they've all been mind controlled or whatever. But there was a leaked screenshot of one of the screens, and it's looking like it's a games for games for service with like a season pass and
get
all
the
this
battle
crap.
pass. Yeah, every game has a battle pass now. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, man, but that's giving them really bad press because Rocksteady is already one of those like story driven games. Like it's a story driven publisher. It's one of those like we want the next Rocksteady game. We don't want the next pay for. We don't want Avengers.
All that DC comes out with is battle pass games, though. It seems like, right?
No, I think it was the opposite. Marvel. I mean, Marvel did with Avengers, right? So they had their big game was Avengers, and it was a game for service.
That game was just bad. I would have totally played the hell out of it if it wasn't.
What it was.
Yeah.
Right. And so people are seeing the writing on the wall, man. They're seeing this like battle pass nonsense with Suicide Squad, and yeah, that's already. So we're gonna see what happens.
James Gunn is already rewriting everything anyway. So
I know.
And
Replaced is coming out soon. That's another one that I've been really looking forward to.
Cow.
The Resident Evil 4 remake. We're getting the RoboCop game. Rogue City, I think is what it's called. Stalker 2 is eventually going to come out. We're getting the next Star Wars Jedi Survivor, so it's the sequel to Fallen Order. Starfield.
Starfield, that comes out this year.
That comes out this year, baby. First half, so it'll be out in a few months.
They just announced that like officially a year ago.
Well, I mean, they finally showed like the trailer and whatnot, but but that was because
there was no gameplay. There was nothing like there was no meat to that preview, so they're gonna put it out there. All right.
Yeah. Well, they've had the long previews of showing. This is a valid question.
Thanks for jumping on Chu De Ju. Is that how you
I don't know how to say the name, but welcome aboard. Yes, no, it has been remade. Well, it has been remastered. No, HD. What do we even call it? You know what? They've taken a game and they've thrown it and given it a polish. But the remake is the remake, right? It is a full-on new engine, fully remake, right? So like, but again, Capcom is just going to go back and take take the Resident Evil and milk them for whatever they're worth. Like, we had a remake of Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3, and now we're getting a remake of 4. And every one of those has been a good remake, right? Everyone likes them. So why wouldn't you?
Yeah. And we shouldn't get mad at them when like GTA does it. How many different Skyrims have we had to endure, right? They just keep remaking the same games.
The Last of Us. I mean, speaking of The Last of Us, we've got an HBO show that's apparently great. I haven't watched it.
It's on my list. I haven't seen it.
It's on my list. I haven't sat down and watched it. If anyone in chat has watched it, I heard it was good. It's also apparently a tough watch.
No, it's got two great actors.
Right?
Yeah. Solid performances from both.
See what else we're getting? Street Fighter 6. We're getting a System Shock remake, so that's coming out as well this year.
Oh, System Shock. I guess it is time for a remake.
Yeah, we're getting The Expanse, the Telltale series. So that's a good one. We're getting Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. That's going to be a big one.
I got to say, for folks who are hating on the Star Wars series, you really should give The Expanse a try. That was just ridiculously good.
Yeah, no, you're right. It was already a third person. The other ones made sense because they were in that style before they were tank controls. But I think there's a thing that
my money anyway.
The capitalism, baby. It's money.
Spoiler for Last of Us: Pedro Pascal is wearing my jacket. Is that a fashion? Are you claiming that? I'm gonna have to watch and see if it's your jacket. I mean, Go Astronaut Go is a very handsome man, but he definitely wears a nice jacket. Stadium Mart says, "Can we get a better Switch for fuck's sake this year, baby?" What's the matter with your current Switch, Stadium?
I mean, the wild takes. We will get something. Last year, Nintendo had a very quiet year when it comes down to like hardware and even software release. I mean, they had some bangers. Don't get me wrong, but especially, but it was a very quiet year. You can tell that whatever has happened within COVID and with chip shortages and hardware manufacturers and all the nonsense, I think Nintendo probably had some sort of like refresh or update. And they, from rumor a few months ago, was that they canned that like Pro or the next level, and they're just going up to the next console because it's been too long. And at the same time, the manufacturing of whatever was going to happen would have been kind of a half step, and the half step was missed because of the chip shortage and whatnot. So
So
here we are.
yeah,
I
we're gonna-
agree. I want a new Switch. I want more power, especially some of the games are starting to look, especially for a console that was really great to buy even third-party games to have, handheld wise. Some of the games are getting a little too long in the tooth for the hardware. I mean, we're looking at a chip that's already 5-6 years old, where the hardware in the Switch was like 2014, I think, was the chip when it was released on the
Still
NVIDIA
plays
Shield.
games really well. This is not a problem I have.
Well, I mean, it
might be
really
up to
depends on the
four.
type of game. You're absolutely right. Like it'll play, but even Nintendo first party games are starting to like chug. Like a good example is Splatoon 3. Looks great, runs great, but you can tell that there's a lot of like cut corners
It's
on
working
the
hard.
game because it's working hard. It's having to push that system, and if they can just give us, I mean, if anything, my dream journal wish list, whatever you want to call it, my would be that we get a Switch that for the first time Nintendo doesn't just go to the next system that doesn't do backwards compatibility, right?
Right.
I want them to just
You get a Switch 2.
not switch, right? Like kind of like they did with the Wii U in a way where you can pop in a Wii disc and play it. The Wii U, I mean, I just want
I mean, Game Boy
Switch.
to Game Boy Advance, and
Yeah, that's a good one too.
DS
Like
Lite, DS to
yeah,
DS, all those.
yeah,
DS.
3DS. So
Yeah,
give me the
they were all
3DS
back
increment
compatible, yeah.
where you could pop in a Switch game to this new and it'll play it nice and smooth. You won't get frame drops because
and controllers that don't break. That
yeah,
would be
and then controllers that don't break for
hardware
sure,
that works.
for sure.
Pokemon Violet. That's 5 windmills per 30 seconds. So
Yeah. So like the modern Pokemon game, like when you're in the open field and whatnot, it's so bad. It was the first game that I'd ever seen Nintendo go, "Hey, we'll give you refunds if you bought it."
Oh wow. And Roll says, "Haven't just bought a Switch, please no, not this year." That must be your lament every
Well,
time
Roll,
you wait
I mean,
8
so-
years to buy a system. Roll.
This is one of those scenarios where if you are coming into the piece of hardware now and you haven't played anything that is released, you're living the dream, baby. That's like
Buy
what's
all
the
the old games.
what's the saying that a lot of people like? I wish I could live that moment again. Like a lot of people always go like, wow, it's the first time I saw The Godfather.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's amazing. Like, I wish I could feel the way I watched The Godfather for the first time. But I've seen it so many times now that it's like that effect, that feeling. I wish I could be in the theater at the end of Avengers, Endgame, that moment, that everyone, that euphoric, that like effervescence where everyone was just like, that's a moment like in theater history that I won't forget. I remember everyone just being that collective effervescence. Was just so.
You know what I want? I want to relive the moment where when Keanu Reeves turned to Lawrence Fishburne and said, "I know Kung Fu," I was the only person in the theater who laughed. I want to relive that moment.
I know Kung Fu.
Me, the second row in the front just burst out laughing, and everyone was like, "Whoop."
So yeah, Rolls, that the entire library of the Switch is so good. All the first party games are so good. Sitting down to play Mario Odyssey for the first time now, I mean, you're not missing anything. It's not like, oh my God, they're old, you can't play them anymore. Got a Switch? Play Mario Odyssey. Play Splatoon 2.
Text Joe for the hit list that plays really well on the Switch, and then tell him how great they are because Joe will love talking about them again, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you just started Breath of the Wild. I'm thrilled. Rock it out. It's gonna be good. Seen The Godfather. That's all right, Dan. I mean, some of us grew up in Soviet Russia. It's cool.
Breath of the Wild for 2 months. Haven't found the first two because Rolls, there are no dungeons.
From the asshole of the old.
That's the killer of Breath of the Wild, right? Like there are maps, there are like little mini dungeons, and there's like 900 of them or some shit like that. Like it's some ridiculous amount. Like there's a ton of them. They're all over the map. You find them, and you there's a crap ton.
It's funny to say there are no dungeons, and then Stadium Art's like just did the first dungeon today.
Well, again, they're not dungeons. They're not like a dungeon. Like when we talk about like Zelda dungeon, it was like you had 8 dungeons in the entire like map.
Yeah.
You ran through it. When you run through that dungeon, you get your big power up.
Yeah. You got
whatever weapon, and then you use that
hook
power up to beat a giant boss. There is no boss. These dungeons are just like puzzles. They're like get from point A to point B. At the end of the puzzle, you get like an orb, and then that orb gives you like you use that orb to cash in to up your stamina or your health. And when you get your health and stamina high enough, you can go fight the big things. And by dungeons, I guess it would be the big puzzle rooms. There are four big
Just say dungeons.
they're the champion room, the big, so they're not dungeons because they're just a big puzzle, because all of them are just switches. There's hardly any enemies in them. And then the boss there is just a version of the final boss. So it's weird. It's like I guess you could say there are 4 dungeons, but it's only 4.
It's a fresh Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. And also those 4 dungeons are optional, because the game allows you to, the moment you wake up and start the game, you could walk right to Ganon and beat him if you want to, but you only have 3 hearts and no weapons, and you're going to get your...
Pretty tough, right?
Yeah. So,
Go Ashinago says, "Are we admitting our classic movie shame? I've never seen 2001." All right, 2001. Never seen that. That's a choice.
that's a good one.
You know, like it. I feel like it's one of those interesting ones where you're gonna watch it, Go Astronaut Go, and you're gonna be like, "Now I get that reference. Now I get that reference." Right? There's so many things that reference.
Yeah, there's that happens a lot.
Gremlins. You know what? Skip Gremlins. Go straight to Gremlins 2. It's a masterpiece. I can't. Dan, don't do it.
That's a take. Woo! That's a hot take right there. Look, I love me some Gremlins 2, but it's not the same movie in it.
Skip Gremlins, go straight to Gremlins 2.
It is a great Christmas movie. Absolutely.
It is a great Christmas movie. That's a good fun.
I mean, I'm trying to think of a movie that I have. This happens a lot with my wife, right? Like, there's movies that she had never seen. A few years ago, she had never seen Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Oh, wow.
But she loves Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Oh, what?
right. Yeah, right. So like the Mel Brooks version of Robin Hood, but like then we watched the Prince of Thieves when she was like, "Oh, I get it." It was like all of the reference, all the jokes. I was like, like she didn't get the like why the scar, like this, you know, the scar on the statue, because he gets the scar. Anywho,
yeah,
the whole joke, all the jokes, you know, a chew, a sneeze, you know, yeah.
It's terrible, but also good. Mel Brooks. I never saw Harold and Kumar go to Guatemala. That's like the third one rolls.
No, that's the second one. The third one is that Christmas one.
Oh, the third one's the Christmas, right? But also,
yeah.
like, are we calling Harold and Kumar classic? The White Castle. Yeah, all right. I can see that.
It's a classic.
I'm trying to think of my shameful.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of one too.
I've seen them all. That's the part of the problem, I think. I've seen them all. Gremlins and yeah. I'm sure I'll think of it later.
I'm gonna think about one, and there's got to be a movie I know that I haven't seen.
That you claim to have seen?
No. I mean, I won't even claim it. Like, I know there's probably one pop culture movie out there that, like, you know, I'll be honest. It took me many years. I saw it, but many years before I saw They Live. I remember that. I remember watching it like as an adult almost.
Yeah, no, that's true. They Live with
definitely.
I saw that with my dad when I was young. And then I feel like I saw it too young, and then I saw it a lot older, and then I was like, oh, okay, I get this now. I don't know. I you know what? There's no movies I'm shamed for having not seen.
I've never seen Heat.
I don't know what to say about that.
Yeah. That's one of those. I'm trying to think of like big like movies that like everyone quotes, everyone talks about, like big one. I've never seen it.
Yeah, I don't say this often, but like for someone as in love with the theatrical experience as you are,
I know.
The sound in Heat will blow your mind. Like, all right,
I agree. I know. I've heard good things. I've never sat down to watch it. It's one of those movies that, like, I know all of the beats in the movie. I know all of the the nuances.
I mean, it's as tropey as hell. It's been referenced. You've seen the movie a million times, but it's just one of those it's one of those movies that it's so well put together. So many good scenes. That's the way to put it.
Yeah, I can't. Heat is worth it. Just the shout out scene alone, hands down, the best shout out in cinema history.
Shootout, yeah, it's
just shootout. You shoot out.
There are like, I will play video games like Division or Gears of War and wish they were as good as that shootout.
Great ass. Yeah, no. It's like, man.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, no, that was my shame. That's a big one. I know there's more. Obviously, I mean, everyone has always got more than one movie that everyone's talked about or whatever. Or maybe it's the fact like The Godfather took me a really long time to watch. I remember because it was one of those movies that was so high up in like movie hierarchy that I almost felt like it was overblown. And I'm not saying it's not. It's a great movie.
It's a great movie.
I don't have the connection to it as a cinematic like.
I enjoyed Scarface more. That's it. I'll say it. I enjoyed Scarface more than I enjoyed The Godfather. I'll just say it. Different types of movies I know, but Scarface was one that I watched every chance I got.
Yeah. Scarface is one of those movies that I think is overrated. I like it.
Definitely overrated. I'm not proud of having enjoyed it so many times.
Scarface is one of the, especially you living up in the Northeast. I know you know what that's about. Like the Godfathers and the Scarface and all those movies. Like it's a you can't walk into a diner without there being like a Scarface or a Godfather like
or a dorm room in the Northeast.
Yeah.
Is a Godfather.
I'm sure. I think there's a diner. I won't name any names, but there's a diner up in Syracuse that's got like a Last Supper version of like. Of like all of the
I should go
all the mafioso
you've seen it, you've been there, right?
I know I have. You know what I'm talking about, but there's literally a giant like Last Supper version of like Tony Montana and the Godfather and like Tony Soprano and all of them like on a big the Goodfellas.
So here is this is an action that I think gets the most gasp from people. This is my shame. I've never seen beyond the first season of Mad Men, The Wire, that show with the chemist who had cancer. I forget the Breaking Bad. Never seen past the first season of that. And then there was another one. So like, there's so many shows that like were critically acclaimed that everyone was like, you have to see it. I never watched past the first season of any of them. I got everything I need. Yes, exactly. So this is the gasp is right there. Those are my shade. Oh, The Sopranos. Never watched past the first season of The Sopranos either.
I'll add to that one. Okay, we'll hot take it and we'll leave the audience. We'll leave the audience with more hate for me. That's fine. I don't get the big deal about Breaking Bad.
Oh, did you watch it?
I tried to.
Oh yeah, the first season. We watched the first season. We got past it.
Yeah, I could. I don't. I get it, but I'm brown. Like I don't know. Like I don't know how to describe it. It's like none of the glorification of that appeals to me.
Sure.
Like none of that. Like I'm a teacher. And I've got cancer.
It's not your fantasy, right? It's
right.
not your escapist fantasy as it is for some folks. So
yeah. Like I don't know. Yeah. Like nothing. All it does. Every episode I watched just made me feel uncomfortable. And I just really wasn't enjoying myself. And eventually I had to like put it away.
Yeah.
Like it was like, and that happens a lot with, it's one of the main reasons I'm not a big horror fan. Cause I'm like, why am I going to sit down and watch a movie that makes me
That's exactly right. That makes me upset. Hey, Rolls, listen, I appreciate you sticking around. I've seen The Sopranos, just only the first season, right? Look, I've seen The Sopranos. Breaking Bad is not a happy, fun story. And I've watched a lot of shows that I enjoyed that were not happy, fun stories.
Right. And Tim, you got it right there. Bryan Cranston is fantastic. And every time that a clip of Breaking Bad gets put up on like a reel or a TikTok or a share or whatever, I watch it. And I'm like, that is a powerful scene. I'm glad I didn't watch the 15 hours to get to that scene.
Sports Center, you're just looking for the highlights.
The highlights, like, I know that you're goddamn right. Like I say my name, I know all of the lines, like I know all of the key frames, I know all of the scenes, but I don't want to watch the like whole season to get to that one powerful scene.
Yeah,
the context of it doesn't. I know he's a drug dealer. He's not. He's like making money. He's like he screwed over the wrong people. Brother-in-law's FBI. I know all the tropes. I know all of it. And he screws over his like friend, like I know all of that, but I don't need to watch it. Like I've seen all the clips, I've seen the highlights.
I'm with you. So this would be my TV shames. I think is really where I'm at. I also never watched the last 3 episodes of Game of Thrones, but that doesn't matter anymore because everyone hates it as much as I did. And then this is always my favorite.
This is a new one, yeah. That's the new Bryan Cranston show.
All right, I can check that out. Goashinago says you should get to season 4 of The Wire so that you can know what sadness is. I mean. I already know what's sad.
I already know what's sad. I was like, Pedro needs no more sad. Pedro needs no more sad.
It's deep. Every time I look in the mirror, I know what sadness is.
Oh, go after dude. Sports Night is key. This is that's pre The Office, pre all of the like work comedy parody shows. Sports Night was great. But I think it was only, what is it, one season? It was, I think, how many seasons were there? There was like one or two, and it got canceled. And it was one of those shows that everyone says that should have been canceled. It was way ahead of its time, that sort of thing.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, it's an old show. It's old, but yeah, that was one of them.
Netflix?
Yeah,
it's good.
Ironically, the actor that plays a big part of Under the Wire is also Your Honor. Yeah. No, I mean, there's all those actors get put in the same roles over and over again, that sort of thing, for sure.
That's good. I'm excited for that. That's great. I like all of these things.
Well, thanks so much, everyone, for joining us. We went over for sure, but I like this final talk. I like the cool down in the chat, like everyone kind of bringing in and
I like bearing my chest on all my secret pop culture shame.
Yeah. The shame. The shame for sure.
Good stuff, everybody.
Thanks everyone for joining us. Like, subscribe, share, all the wonderful things. I got to say them because, whatever.
Capitalism kills us. Also, we love you hanging out. Everyone that came on. Thanks. This show will not be there without the chat. So really appreciate it. It's good stuff.
For sure. Again, join our Discord. It is not a hopping party. It is a party. There's someone standing in a corner with a bowl of Doritos. And they're toasted corn flavor for some reason. I don't understand why. And there is La Croix in the corner over there. It's unflavored though. It's unflavored. It's just seltzer flavor. So
there's a big bowl of toasted corn Doritos. Come on, everybody.
No salsa. No one's brought it. Someone said they signed up to bring the salsa to the Discord, and no one showed up and brought it. So. But if you've got salsa, feel free to bring it. Join and hop in and chat.
Just one last troll for our friend Blockbuster. I don't have a DVD player, so don't bother sending me a copy of Sopranos.
Hey, your Xbox doesn't even have a drive in it.
Nope. Have a good one, everybody.
Oh man, La Croix. No, it's La Croix. It is a French word. LaCroix? What is this? You Philistines. LaCroix. LaCroix.
It's LaCroix. It's LaCroix.
It's LaCroix.
All right, folks. Have a good one.
LaCroix. Take care, everyone. Another episode of The Can. Take care.
Be kind.